once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. Yes, as you can see, I still am a bit under the weather, but I needed to get these videos out because they needed to get out there, to be honest with you, because we know the stay-at-homes started last week. Was it last week sometime? Was it? Anyway, I'm here to update and to give my view on everything that I've watched with you all. But before we get into it, let me start with what it is that I'm talking about. As you well know, it will be Married at First Sight UK, and it's series 8, and we are now on episode 28. As we already know, the stay-at-homes had begun. Okay, so before we get into it, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I am on and doing videos. And let's talk about this episode, shall we? So it starts off with Erica and Jordan, and let's just say things are not looking good between them two, because at the end of the day, they're still at other ends of the playing field because of what had happened at the dinner. And basically, they both got into that full force tit for tat shit. Like, you don't do this for me, well, what do you do for me? Yada, yada, yada. That's how they go on, because they're immature. They are immature. Erica likes to think that she's this mature being and can give grace when it's needed, but she can't. And Jordan is as well. He's very stuck in his ways and likes to think that, you know, whatever he says in certain situations, people may follow along to, or he gives his advice, but it can be straight deadpan in your face, or it can be quite cryptic in terms of what he's listening and hearing. He takes it literally. Jordan does, like, literally takes it that way. So you have to be careful in how you approach things with him and how you discuss things with him, and make sure that what you mean is what you say. Don't say something and you don't actually mean what you're saying, but you're meaning it in a different context, because for him that obviously goes straight over his head. So Ella takes JJ to meet her nan. Now, she turns around and says that she's never introduced anyone to her nan, so this is going to be different for her. And I thought, hold on, wait a minute. But didn't you introduce your nan to Nathaniel on the day of your wedding via video link at the end of the day? So doesn't that class as you introducing your nan to someone? That's all I can say. So when she goes in, she does explain to her nan exactly what happened between her and Nathaniel and how she's got to be with JJ. I'd have to say, through how they were in the home stays, JJ and Ella, I have to say it was nice to see a different side to them, and not just the side that we get portrayed. Yeah, they're still not going to be my flavour of the week. Let's just put it that way. They're still not going to be my flavour of the week at the end of the day. But it's nice to see how they're getting on with each other. So then it goes to Erica and Jordan, and they go to Erica's home. And Erica's like still hella annoyed at him. And Jordan starts talking about time zones and saying the time zones. Well, it's going to be a different time zone in Scotland to where I am in terms of it. And I'm like, my love, still in the UK? Still in the motherfucking, what do you mean time zones? And even Erica had to look at him and pull him up and say, are you having a laugh? Like, are you really having a giraffe right here now? Are you pulling my bowel? Are you being serious? But I think Jordan was being serious in regards to when he was chatting about the time zones, and I was like, oh, come on, son, for real? So then we get see Roz and Thomas, and I forgot that Thomas still lives with his mum, which would be a bit weird when it comes to the intimateness in terms of their relationship. But Roz was jokey. She was enjoying herself up in his room and stuff like that, looking around. He then disappeared and puts on a fucking shark costume, and she's rifled through his drawers and finds 3 condoms. Now, I don't know if they were opened. They looked to be open, because she was like, ew, you still got these in here. And he was like, what, you were rifling through my drawers? So they were quite jovial, which was nice to see. They were very jovial. And then we move quickly on to George and Peggy. And Peggy is literally liking the home that George lives in. I don't know if she thought he was living in some type of hovel. I do not know. But George owns his own place, and his place was gorgeous, man. Like, absolutely gorgeous, even down to the setup that he had for his, like, gaming and YouTubing and his interneting and all of that, he had that all set up. And even with the setup, she was quite shocked because she was thinking that it'd be something in a deep dingy corner, or wires here, there and everywhere, or videos set up here, there and everywhere. I think that's what Peggy was thinking. So she really got a quiet sharp shock in regards to the fact that George's home was absolutely beautiful and pristine, and the fact that his content corner weren't as bad as she built it up to be in her mind. But of course, she still had to keep on going on about his gaming, and this has been par for the course with these, like with his gaming, and she kept on going on about it. Peggy says that she could see herself living with George, which made him feel better because he wanted her to make her feel at home. So I'm like, so is that all it took then, Peggy, for you to see where this man lived? For you to see the nice house that he has and the stuff that he has in it, and also his gaming corner, for you to say, oh, I can see myself living with you? Is that really all it took? So, no. And it was at this point where I kind of thought as well that maybe George will get lucky here. Maybe George will get a bit of nookie, do you know what I mean? That's where my mind did go, thinking, okay, she's opening herself up to him. Okay, she's being a bit, maybe this is where it's going to bubble down to. Did it heckers like. Now, for someone who keeps on going on about the fact that they don't want their relationship based around sex, or they don't want people to keep bringing up the conversation of sex, Ella sure does like to talk about it a lot. And she ends up telling her nan that her and JJ haven't had like the physical aspect of their relationship consummated, basically. And basically the nan says, well, if you haven't had sex yet, or if you do have sex and it's not good, then you're up shit's creek, basically, because you need to know what the sex is like before you move forward within the relationship. And this is something that Ella is worrying about. But my thinking with Ella is she's jumping in the same way she jumped in with Nathaniel. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's the same basis where Nathaniel was saying that he's a slow burner. It takes him a while. He needs to get to know you and get to a point where he's wanting to then go into the sexual part of the relationship with you. Now, the same thing is being done with JJ, where he is at a point where he needs to get to know a person first. He hasn't always jumped headlong into having a sexual relationship straight away. So sod's law would it be that Ella ended up with two men who don't want to jump her bones straight away. So then you see it moves on to Jordan and Erica meeting Erica's friends, basically. So they speak frankly and open and honestly with their friends. And Erica does harp on the fact that, you know, he didn't want to do the couples week, whereas she did, and how the situation then brewed up. So then they go in again for the whole tit for tat and this, that and the other, and how it brewed up. But key crux of it is Erica did literally throw Jordan under the bus at the dinner table. And then when Jordan tried to bring it up again with Erica for the dinner with the friends and said, well, you know, Laura said, she was like, no, don't bring another person into it. This is between me and you. But the fact of it is he's right to have brought Laura up, because at the end of the day, Laura was gunning for Jordan any which way she could do. And the way that she saw it was through the week in regards to partner swap week, because she knew that Erica really wanted to do it. So what did she do? She did Laura did the old adage, divide and conquer, and then she watched the fucking crumbles of their relationship fall apart at that dinner table. But Erica didn't see it that way. I saw it the same way as Jordan as to how it went on. She literally threw Jordan under the bus rather than waiting until later on for them to have a conversation about it afterwards. So as I said, they both don't listen to each other. They both have to be right. So all I'm going to say is at the end of the day, Erica made the decision not to swap. She's a fear of missing out person, a FOMO person. But essentially, she made that decision not to swap. And she made that decision based on how Jordan was presenting at the time and the support that he needed at the time in order to deal with the situation that had gone on, especially when it came on surrounding his OCD and how he gets around in those moments. So she made that decision to not go through with it. So my thing is Erica should have made that very clear to Jordan in how she was thinking and feeling. And from what I saw, She didn't make that clear to him in the slightest, and now both of them are gunning for each other because neither one of them want to take responsibility for what each one of them has said to each other. And we see Erica and Jordan go to Erica's grandparents' house, basically, and sit down and have conversations with them. And I knew straight away it's going to get thrown out there in terms of the situation that they're going through at the moment. At first, the grandmother really did, like, you know, say, well, you get that in every relationship. It's how you work through it. It's how you navigate through it and be able to communicate with each other that you'll get out the other side, okay? At the end of the day, I have to realise is that Erica and Jordan ain't been together for long, to be fair. They're quite young, and I would say that they're still kind of immature and still in that stage of getting to know each other and how each other works. Erica is basically saying that she's not in the best place at the moment and can't communicate how she feels. But my thing is, why does she keep calling Jordan boy or the boy? She keeps saying the boy. Me, myself, I wouldn't like to be told the girl. Or say, oh, you know, the girl doesn't listen to me. No. That it's not going to do that. I mean, he's got a name. His name is Jordan. Call him Jordan. Does not listen to what you're saying at the end of the day. And to be fair, you don't listen to what the hell Jordan's saying anyway, Erica. So she's there saying that everything that Jordan does is starting to irritate her. To be fair, everything that Erica kind of does starts to irritate me. Has been irritating me for time, to be honest with you. I think she wants everything her way. And then it moves on to George and Peggy. So basically, George is showing Peggy how his gaming station works and everything like that. And then he told her that he games 3 times per week because he likes structure, and the structure in his life is quite important. So basically, he listed his list of priorities in regards to his gaming and everything, and he did throw off like the offhanded thing, and of course you're a priority, Peggy, and this, that and the other. She took that very personally because at the end of the day, she's saying that her family are her top priority. Family and friends come before everything in her order of life, and she was shocked to see that she was not in her top list of priorities when it came to George. So basically she threw up a question where she kind of said, well, if my sister or my mum and dad had something going on a Friday night, and I says, oh, and they says, come on, you and George can come too, and I says to you, he says, well, no, I'll probably say no because I'm doing gaming. She did not like that. She did not like that in the slightest. Now, bearing in mind, George only said that he spent about 5 hours on his gaming. So if they were going to do something, they could do something around the gaming to the point where he could still go out, do his gaming and still go out at the end of the day. So basically what she wants is for him to just drop everything and run with his family. So say if turnabout happened and his parents or her sister was doing something and he turned around and says, oh, let's go X, Y, and Z, invite your sister and that, would they give him the same type of what's the word I'm looking for? Would they give him the same type of respect in dropping what they're doing to say, yeah, let's go and meet with Peggy and her husband? I don't think they would, to be fair, because they don't hold George in high esteem. And we'll get to that more later on in the episodes, but they don't hold George to a high esteem in any way, shape or form. So my thing would be is Peggy is getting to a point where this thing about his gaming is the be all and end all at the moment for her. And I think if she could rip that away from him without any comeback, she would do it. But I think she's doing it in little drips and drabs. She's literally, she's pickaxing. She's pickaxing at the rock to get it down a little bit, and that's what she's doing with George. And George is kind of like following into line with her, because if he gets it wrong, she lets him know when she's unhappy. And as she said, I'm so glad I didn't give myself to you, because now you've told me that it would have made me feel so horrible and awkward about myself if I'd given myself to you fully. He then doubles back basically on what he said. Even though he said it with chess, he doubles back on what he said and then makes it fit her narrative, in that maybe what I said came across as wrong to you, But I'm telling you, I would move things if I had to. Gaming's not the be all and end all. And I'm like, my dude, you just told her your list of priorities and gaming was up there. Gaming was up there. So for her to then throw a strap, as I see it, because that's what she's doing, she's throwing a major strap because she isn't hearing what she wants to hear. Yeah. And then when he says what she wants to hear, then she's all in again with him. I don't like that in the slightest. I do not like it in the slightest. So then it moves to Laura and Arthur's homestay, and Arthur is going out with Laura to meet Laura's two friends. Now, I will say with Laura's two friends, yeah, Laura has put them on this place in her life, on this pedestal, where their opinion means everything, okay? That's where Laura has placed her friends, to the point of, even if they're being rude to the person that she's with because they feel justified in being rude to the person that she's with, yeah, Laura won't think two minds about it because she believes that they're doing it on her behalf, okay? And I think that's the situation that happened with Arthur. Because I think Arthur went in there already on the defensive because of the experiences that he's had with these two people already that are important in Laura's life. Don't forget, he's had the experience of them at the wedding, and then he's had the experience of them at when the family and friends came in as well. And each time, I think their view of Arthur is lesser and lesser and lesser. And I think it's because they're basing it on the people that Laura normally gravitates around. Well, let's just have it out there. As her friends, you know, the people that Laura normally gravitates around, the ones that, you know, she got married to and then set her sights on dating, don't necessarily work out for her because they didn't treat her right. At the end of the day, Arthur is treating her right. He's showing it in some weird ways, but in some ways he is treating her right and being respectful. Now, I've never seen Arthur like this. Let's just put it that way. I have never seen Arthur like this in the slightest. So basically, after they asked Arthur the question about where does he see himself, like living in his life and stuff like that. Now, bearing in mind he's married to Laura, so you would have thought that Arthur would have brought Laura into that conversation. He did not. He just talked about himself. Like, he said that his parents have the house in Stevenage, that's where he's going to move to, then he's going to get a job, then he's going to do this, then he's going to do this, and and neither throughout that whole conversation did he mention Laura in the slightest, and that's where they pulled him up on, basically. And basically they turned to him and she said, you said a lot of I statements, and you can't really say I statements because you can't think about yourself. You're married, and you're married to Laura. And Laura did pipe up and say, but these are things that we need to have a discussion about and working out where they both fit into each other's lives. Me, myself, with these two, even though they're giving it a good try, I don't see them being together. I really don't. Even though they're giving it a really good try, I really don't see them being together. So Arthur just basically says, well, we'll just see what happens. And I just thought to myself, Arthur, you need to listen to yourself. Listen to your inside voice first before you let it out into the ether, because it's certain things in how you say it, bearing in mind his first language is not English, then sets people off because they don't understand the context that he's meaning it in. And sometimes I think throughout this conversation, rather than asking Arthur what he meant, Laura's friends took a back foot and started to roll him up something rotten, and they did, in the way that they spoke to him. They really did. So basically, Arthur is telling them, I'm not here to impress you. I am here to impress Laura. At the end of the day, she is the most important thing to me. But he called them on the fact that he didn't think that they'd given him a chance. And as I said, I'll agree with Arthur on that. I don't think they did give him a fair chance, to be honest with you. Can I really say that sometimes you need to do as little spreading of the sugar? You need to be a little sweet to catch what you want at the end of the day? Because I think that's kind of what Arthur has to kind of do. But I think he's probably tried that already. And that's why he got really defensive with them. So basically, all in all, Arthur was saying that he felt judged by them and attacked. And Laura's friends, like, were not happy with his responses in any way, shape or form. So Arthur then gets up from the table and moves off and lets them have their chat. And basically they railed into Laura in regards to how he was speaking to them. And Laura did basically say that Arthur's a very direct person, and he is a very direct person. He really is. And you've got to understand him to know exactly what he means when he says things. So Laura was defending him at certain points, but her friends were having none of it. They were just like, he's absolutely like rude, like full on rude. So yeah, did not go very well. Didn't go how Laura wanted it to go. And Arthur felt that it went quite well. Yes, there were certain things that he said that he will admit to and put his hands up to, that maybe he may have been a little bit rude. But then also Laura's friends have got to put their hands up and say, you know what, maybe we didn't give him the fair shake, and maybe we were a little bit rude and gung-ho in terms of what we were asking him, and how he was putting across at the dinner table. Because don't get me wrong, they were all wrong on all different points. They're all wrong with each other in their responses on all different points. But all I would say is I believe Arthur was on the defensive as soon as he walked into that space. So then it moves on into the others' home stays. So Ella and JJ have gone to JJ's home now. Ella is stating that she'll be on her best behaviour, because I think it comes out in a little bit in this episode that there's certain situations that JJ is finding himself in with Ella that he does not like in the slightest, especially when she's had a little bit too much to drink. So you see Jordan and Erica go to Jordan's home, and they have their conversation with Jordan's mum. Now, it's quite like enthralling to see when you sit down, like especially in Jordan's position at the moment, wanting an ear of someone that will listen to him, namely his mum, in regards to what's going on and offer advice. And then when Erica's speaking and offer advice in that sense, but his mum literally was like talking to Jordan as if to say, look, we've had these conversations before. At the end of the day, if Erica's able to read when you are not doing so well and adjust her behaviour or adjust what she's doing in order to be there for you, that means she's getting you, Jordan. So that's what the mum was putting through to Jordan in regards to that. And to a point, I understand that. I do understand what his mum is saying. But then to another point, that's taken away some of the responsibility and accountability that I think Erica should have in the situation that them two found themselves in. So then you see JJ introducing Ella to like his best friend basically, and JJ's walked in with Ella, and the best friend's sitting there like, oh this is not Bianca, who the hell is this? Because apparently the best friend didn't get the memo that, you know what, there's been a swap up, there's been a change. So he then lets his best man know, and basically his friend Louis is his name, says it looks like the match makes him looks a lot happier than when he was with Bianca, which is true. It's going to be, because he's with the person that he wanted to be with, and JJ wanted to be with Ella really at first based off looks. Let's not forget that, based off looks alone. So Ella was explaining to his friend that JJ is not the most reassuring person, and that it's hard to read him. And Louis turns around and says to Ella that that's correct. It took him some time in getting to know JJ in terms of how he thinks and feels about things. I says because it took him time to read JJ until he could understand him basically. So Ella goes off and they have their chat and seeing if things will progress with Ella or not. And this is where JJ turns around that, you know, there's been certain things that have come up that he's not necessarily liking. He's very drawn to her. But when they've been out and she's got quite drunk, he says there's a couple of things that have flagged up with her that she does in her behaviours that he is not too happy with at the end of the day. So he's on a we'll see how it goes basis type thing with Ella at the moment. That's as far as I can take it for this video. But I shall be back in quick succession with the next, hopefully without coughing throughout the video this time. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button when you know I am on and doing videos, and I'll be back very soon. Peace out.